How often would he beat you?
Too much.
Would he only use a belt?
Why do you do this to me?
If most kids are scared of monsters hiding under the bed at 5 years old, Michael Jackson was dealing with something far more real. His monster was Joseph Jackson. Michael's childhood turned into non-stop rehearsals, where even the smallest mistake could end with harsh punishment. There was no real fatherly warmth coming from Joseph. Inside that house, the word dad was basically off limits.
And I wanted to call him Daddy so bad. He said, I'm not Daddy, I'm Joseph to you, you know?
Joseph purposely damaged the normal bond between parent and child because it made controlling his kids much easier. He saw them less like children and more like performers who could build the success he never reached himself. Money and fame became the main focus in the Jackson household. Back in the early 1950s, Joseph and his brother Luther started a blues band called the Falcons. Joseph played guitar and seriously believed he could make it big in music. But the band never got a record deal and slowly fell apart. After his dream crashed, Joseph went to work as a crane operator at a steel mill to take care of his growing family.
If he hit me, I would hit it back, which was terrible. And I would run around the house and hide and all that stuff. But I would really get it more than anybody.
By the 1960s, his older sons, Jackie, Tito, and Jermaine, had already started sneaking around to play their father's guitar. The second Joseph caught them, he quickly formed a group called the Jackson Brothers. Then everything changed when Michael was only 5 years old. His mother, Katherine Jackson, noticed his incredible voice right away and begged Joseph to hear him sing. Joseph ignored her for a long time because, in his mind, Jermaine was supposed to be the star of the group. But Katherine saw something the strict father and manager kept refusing to admit. Michael had a talent that could not stay hidden. Katherine practically had to force Joseph to sit down and listen to his youngest son sing. He finally agreed, and that single moment changed the entire family forever. Michael suddenly became the main focus. For Katherine, it felt like discovering a gift from God. For Joseph, it looked more like finding the perfect tool to build success and money. Joseph pushed his children hard in hopes of turning them into superstars. During rehearsals, he would sit in the middle of the room holding a leather belt while watching every move closely.
Go back. You just said that you would practice the dance steps and your father would be holding a belt in his hand. Is that what you just said?
Yes. And he would tear you up if you missed. And so not only were we practicing, we were nervous rehearsing because he sat in the chair and he had this belt in his hand. And if you didn't do it the right way, he would tear you up, really get you.
If one of the brothers missed a step, fell off rhythm, or sang the wrong note, punishment could come fast. Reports about the Jackson household later revealed that the discipline went far beyond strict rehearsals. The girls in the family were reportedly treated harshly, too.
One occasion you cite when you're getting out of the bathtub and he whacks you. How old were you then?
I was very young. I remember being younger than 8, let me put it like that.
I mean, that's pretty bad.
Yeah. And I can't remember what it was that I did. I can't remember if I truly deserved it. But my father's never touched me aside from that time. He's never whipped me.
But he did the boys quite a lot. He was quite physically disciplinary.
What shocked many people later was the fact that Michael Jackson had already spoken publicly about his father's physical discipline as far back as 1979. At the time, most people did not fully understand how serious the situation may have been behind closed doors. Around that same period, Michael reportedly had a very personal conversation with LaToya Jackson, where he admitted he would not miss Joseph if he passed away.
If Joseph died, would you care? Would you cry? And I would say, why would you say that, would you? He goes, you answer first. I go, no, you answer. He says, no, I could care less. I wouldn't cry.
That statement alone showed how deep the pain inside the family had become. The marks from punishments eventually faded, but Joseph's words stayed with Michael much longer.
Say, let's get into this beating thing. There's no such thing as beating a kid. You whip them and punish them for something they did, and they will remember that. So they remember it in such a way they wouldn't do it again. That's the way I was.
When Michael became a teenager, he started dealing with acne and changes in his appearance. Most fathers would try to comfort their son during a difficult age like that. Joseph reportedly went the opposite direction and focused on criticizing Michael's nose, something that deeply affected his confidence for years.
Is it true that your father used to say you had a fat nose?
Yeah.
What did he say? What did he actually say?
God, your nose is big. You didn't get it from me.
Joseph constantly mocked Michael about his appearance. He would call him Big Nose, and even say things like, "In our family, we don't have ugly ones like that. You're not one of us." Those words reportedly stayed in Michael's mind for years. He later shared with friends that his appearance became a major insecurity for him. At one point, he admitted that seeing similarities to his father in the mirror deeply bothered him and influenced some of the choices he made about his looks.
I wouldn't want to look in the mirror.
Really?
And my father teased me, and I just hated it. I cried every day because of it.
Your father would tease you about your
Yes,
pimples?
he would tell me I'm ugly.
Your father would say
Yes,
that?
he would. Sorry, Joseph.
But the emotional damage did not stop there. One night, Joseph decided to scare Michael as a lesson about safety. While Michael was sleeping, his father reportedly wore a frightening mask, climbed through the bedroom window, and woke him up screaming loudly. Joseph may have wanted to teach his son not to leave windows open, but the experience had a lasting impact. He later struggled with intense fear and nightmares about being kidnapped from his own room. The incident became one of the many stories tied to the difficult relationship between father and son.
I don't think he realizes to this day how scared. I mean, scared. So scared that I would regurgitate.
You would vomit?
Mm-hmm.
When would you vomit? What would produce that sort of reaction in you?
His presence, just seeing him. And sometimes I'd faint, and my bodyguards would have to hold me up.
And Michael said in a recent interview that he was frightened of you. He says that he was so frightened of you sometimes that he would be sick. Is that true?
Well, I just knew about that when I heard him mention that on the TV on the Oprah Winfrey show. I didn't know anything about him being sick, but he did regurgitate it. He regurgitated all the way to the bank, you know.
What do you mean?
I mean, by me being strict with him a little bit, and it made him a superstar.
When Michael turned 21, he made a huge decision and refused to renew his contract with Joseph. Until then, Joseph had major control over Michael's career as both manager and father figure. Michael brought in lawyers and professional advisors to officially handle the split because he reportedly felt too intimidated to confront his father directly. Joseph strongly disliked Michael's new team, especially attorney John Branca. During the 1980s, he publicly accused some of Michael's advisors of taking advantage of the family and stealing money. Joseph pushed hard for Michael to return to family management. But Michael believed the professionals around him were protecting his career and future, while his father was mainly focused on keeping control. One of the last ways Joseph could still pressure Michael was through the Jackson 5. After Thriller turned Michael into a worldwide superstar, Joseph reportedly leaned hard on family loyalty and guilt, reminding him he owed everything to the family and needed to keep supporting them.
Do you have a very good relationship with all of your children? How would you describe your family life?
No, put that, they have a good relationship with me.
So when a massive $5 million Pepsi deal appeared in 1983, Michael agreed, even though reports say he had serious doubts about it. That decision led to a tragic moment during the commercial shoot. Michael's hair accidentally caught fire while filming, leaving him with painful second and third-degree burns. After the accident, he began using powerful pain medication during recovery, and many later connected that period to the dependency issues that affected his life in the years that followed. But Joseph was not focused only on Pepsi. He also wanted a huge Jackson family tour with Michael standing front and center again. By that point, Joseph knew Michael no longer responded well to direct pressure, so Katherine Jackson became the person who could still reach him emotionally. Katherine approached Michael gently and reportedly asked him to help his brothers by joining the family on stage again. Michael always wanted to make his mother happy, which made refusing her extremely difficult. Once again, he agreed, even though the situation added more pressure onto his shoulders. As planning for the Victory Tour moved forward, critics quickly started questioning how much of it was really about music and how much was about business. One controversial part involved a lottery-style ticket system. Fans had to send money ahead of time, around $120, for the opportunity to buy 4 tickets. If they were not selected, they sometimes had to wait weeks before getting their money returned. Every brother was fully behind the plan, except Michael. He understood right away that the ticket system could hurt the family's image and upset loyal fans, especially people who simply could not afford those expensive conditions. The backlash started growing fast, and then one letter completely changed the situation. An 11-year-old fan named Latonda Jones from Texas wrote directly to Michael. She explained that she had been working small jobs to save up $30 for a concert ticket, but the rules forced fans to buy 4 tickets together, something she could not afford. In the letter, she accused the Jacksons of acting selfish and greedy over money. The message reportedly hit Michael hard. Soon after, he held a press conference and announced changes to the ticket system. He also revealed that his share of the tour profits would go to charity instead of straight into his own pocket. When Michael made that announcement publicly, Joseph and several of his brothers looked stunned. Reports at the time suggested they never expected Michael to step away from millions of dollars connected to the family business plans. But by then, Michael seemed far less concerned about pleasing them than protecting his own reputation. The controversy around the lottery system had already done major damage to Michael's public image. Since he was the biggest star in the group, most of the criticism landed directly on him. Fans blamed Michael, while Joseph reportedly continued managing the money connected to the ticket process, including funds that sat in accounts while people waited for refunds. Michael finally reached his limit with the constant pressure and business moves surrounding the family. During the final Victory Tour concert in Los Angeles, he shocked the crowd by stepping on stage and announcing that this would be his last performance with the Jacksons.
I'd like to say, this is our last and final tour, and I think this is our farewell tour. Y'all been wonderful. It's been a long 20 years, and we love you all.
That moment reportedly sent Joseph into complete anger. Behind the scenes, Joseph and promoters were already discussing more tour dates for Europe and Australia in 1985. With Thriller dominating the world, they expected another wave of massive profits from Michael's popularity. But while Joseph was planning future shows and counting possible earnings, Michael destroyed those plans instantly with one public announcement. To many people watching, it felt like more than just leaving a music group. It looked like Michael breaking away from his father's control in front of the entire world. Backstage, tensions between father and son reportedly exploded. According to stories shared later, Michael directly told him, "It's over, Joseph." That line became one of the clearest signs that Michael was determined to take full control of his own career and personal life. After losing much of his influence over Michael's career, Joseph launched his own company called Ivory Tower International Records. He tried promoting other artists and helping some of his younger children enter entertainment, but none of those projects reached the success Michael achieved. Over the years, Joseph also faced criticism for using the Jackson family name in different business ideas, including products like perfumes and food ventures tied to the family brand. Michael slowly began separating himself from many of the business projects connected to his father. As the years passed, that distance turned into strict personal boundaries. At Neverland Ranch, Joseph reportedly was not allowed to arrive without permission first. Michael's security team allegedly had direct instructions not to allow his father onto the property unless Michael approved it himself. To keep some level of peace inside the family, Michael would still organize a yearly gathering, sometimes called Joseph Jackson Day, where relatives were invited to the ranch. But despite those public family moments, the deeper issues between Michael and Joseph never truly disappeared. One of the biggest shocks came years later, when details about Michael's will became public. In 2002, at age 43, Michael finalized the document privately and divided his estate in a very specific way. 40% was left to his children, Prince, Paris, and Blanket. Another 40% went to his mother, Katherine Jackson, while the remaining 20% was directed toward charity. Joseph Jackson's name was completely missing from the will. Michael also named Diana Ross as a backup guardian for his children instead of choosing his father or brothers. Many people saw that decision as a major statement about who Michael trusted most near the end of his life. Michael reportedly structured Catherine's inheritance carefully as a lifetime trust. She received money for living expenses through monthly support, but she did not directly control the main estate assets. That setup legally limited the possibility of large amounts being redirected into outside business ventures connected to other family members. After Michael's death in 2009, Joseph Jackson reportedly reacted strongly after learning he was not included in the estate. He later filed legal claims requesting financial support, including reports of seeking a monthly allowance of around $15,000.
Joseph argued that Michael had financially supported him for years and believed that as Michael's father, he deserved part of the estate. But the estate's attorneys, John Branca and John McLean, pointed to legal documents showing that Michael had intentionally left Joseph out of the will. When the decision was finalized, the court made it clear that Joseph Jackson would receive nothing from the estate because that had been Michael's personal decision. One detail that many fans found especially emotional came from comments Joseph made after Michael's death. In interviews, he spoke about missing seeing Michael perform on stage.
It has been really tough. Remember, we just lost the biggest star in the world, superstar in the world, so it's been tough.
Critics felt those remarks focused more on Michael the entertainer than Michael the son. An interview recorded just days after Michael Jackson passed away on June 25, 2009, also drew major attention online. During a live CNN appearance on June 28th, Joseph mentioned his new music label while discussing Michael's death, and many viewers felt the timing was inappropriate. Only days later, while fans around the world were still mourning Michael, Joseph again brought attention to his business projects and public appearances.
What I'm doing is I established a record company with Marshall, and the company is called Marantz Records, distributed by Blue Star and Blu-ray. Yeah.
It's typical Joe Jackson. I mean, I can see why Michael was at a distance from.
I think the fans more than anything want to focus on Michael. We don't want to hear the negativity. We don't want to hear anybody plug in their record label. We don't want to hear whose albums drop.
The reaction from fans was intense, with many accusing him of using the moment for promotion rather than focusing entirely on his son's memory. Even though Joseph was often described as highly driven and business-minded, critics and some family members believed his relationship with his children remained emotionally distant. One emotional example appeared during a television interview with LaToya Jackson. Sitting across from her father, she became emotional while explaining how deeply she wanted his love and approval, and how much simple kindness from him would have meant to her growing up.
And you would truly understand and know how I feel. I care about you so much, you have no clue.
But Joseph only looked back at her with a cold and distant stare. There was no real empathy in his expression and no sign that he understood the pain his children were trying to explain. Many people close to the family believe Joseph struggled to connect with emotional vulnerability because he never truly experienced warmth himself while growing up. In his memoirs, Joseph described his own father as extremely strict and controlling. He talked about being a lonely child who grew up under harsh discipline with very little freedom. Over the years, Joseph defended the way he raised his children by saying that tough discipline was the only way to keep kids focused and away from trouble. But those harsh methods appeared to leave deep emotional scars on Michael Jackson that never fully disappeared.
When he was beating you, did you hate him?
Yeah. Strong hate.
Behind the fame, the records, and worldwide success, many believed Michael still carried the fear and pain of the little boy he once was. The story of Michael Jackson's life was filled with unbelievable success, family pressure, heartbreak, and constant public attention. Even after becoming one of the biggest stars the world had ever seen, the struggles from his childhood continued to follow him for decades. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with others who want to know the real stories behind music legends. Also, drop a comment below and let us know your thoughts on the complicated relationship between Michael and Joseph Jackson. Thanks for watching.